Hello and welcome to All Pillar No Filler, and today I'm with the lovely Jazz.
Hi.
We're going to be talking about some themes regarding loss and dealing with that, so that is a massive trigger warning there, so this might strike a chord with some people going forward. But before we get into all that, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yes.
Yeah, it's all right day today.
Yeah, I know. It's lovely and it's beautiful view up here as well.
Yeah,
So it's even better.
I do love the view. I do love the view. Makes
Yeah,
a big
gorgeous.
difference.
Yeah.
Having your morning coffee with a view is nice.
Nice coffee as well.
Absolutely.
So.
Oh, I can't beat the coffee. Can't beat the coffee. Right. So I guess going from the beginning, I like to do these sort of chronologically and work our way through because obviously we've only got a limited amount of time and we can miss so many big important parts, can't we? So let's begin then. So we're on the theme of loss.
Yeah.
And we are going to explore a little bit of that. So I'm wondering about your early experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my experiences of loss, I never lost someone until I was about 13, when my brother died by suicide. So that was quite a tragic and unexpected loss. But that was my first introduction into the whole world of grief and loss.
How old were you then?
13.
So you were 13? Sorry,
Yeah, and my brother was 19.
He was 19.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's such a young age to...
Yeah, massively young. And it's not a normal, and I say that very loosely, in inverted commas, it's not a normal loss because it's, you I suppose when you have like grandparents and they pass away, it's normally an expected loss of age or illness, whereas when it's something tragic and traumatic, it's normally a shock, and it was a big shock.
So like with things like death by suicide, that is like there's no warning, and that's the thing, there's nothing, there's no lead up to it, so obviously that surprise element is there. And I mean, I can only imagine as a family what you had to go through in that moment. Like, was there anything that you found particularly helped in that situation?
It was a really challenging time because he committed suicide just before the whole situation with the Bridgen suicides. So he was tarred into that a bit, and that went on for a good year or two after. But I think it's a hard one. I think with my brother, he had mental health issues. So I was trying to see it from his point of view. And I truly feel like he wasn't built for this world. He wasn't mentally able to be stable enough and function in your everyday life and doing all the things you need to do. And he struggled and he asked for help and it wasn't available.
Yeah, I mean, going back then, what was that, 17, 18 years ago, something like that? Like that,
yeah, quite some time ago.
We didn't have the awareness that we have now around this sort of thing.
No.
And especially then, so you brought up the Bridgen thing, and there's going to be people listening who maybe don't know about that. And that was like this crazy thing that happened when we were younger, wasn't it? Where, and I'm not sure how many exactly there was, but in this one town in South Wales, there was just a great number of suicides from young people. And lots of speculation. Did they ever get to the bottom of that, do you know?
My brother didn't know any of those individuals. I believe some were linked and some weren't, but I think there was quite a crisis at the time that services unfortunately weren't picking up on. But again, it comes down to that awareness and that training for professionals and families having a better understanding, because there's lots of taboo associated with suicide.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a very taboo subject, but a very close to home subject for many people.
Absolutely.
There's lots of people that might experience suicide feelings, but don't talk about them because of that taboo that's attached. I, for one, haven't had my experiences, as I'll discuss later on, have experienced of not wanting to be here anymore. But it's coming to terms and understanding that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so unfortunately some people do act on that. But I can only imagine the extent of emotional and mental pain they must be suffering to have to go through that means to end their life.
That's it. It's not just something they came up with overnight, is it? This is something that's going to have been affecting them for such a long time.
Yeah.
Which makes it even more painful for us looking at this situation and going, there must have been so much time where some kind of intervention could have been put into place.
Yeah.
Some kind of help could have been offered. And I'm like, I don't even know where to begin with that. What was there any kind of help that you feel like now, because obviously working within social care and that sort of stuff, you're aware now of what is available now. Is there anything now that you think people could reach out to?
There's lots of good training out there now. You've got the assist training, which is suicide prevention training. That's fantastic. That gives professionals knowledge and skills on how to support people who are vulnerable to suicide or having suicidal ideas or wanting to take their own lives. It helps break down those barriers and give professionals the tools to support individuals and signpost them. There's some good voluntary organisations out there. You've got Mind, they're pretty good. You've got the Samaritans. But I think a lot of it needs to be breaking down the taboo and also the access to frontline services. So your GP and things like that, and perhaps the GPs having more training.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it's in itself is its own illness, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
It needs as much attention as any other thing that comes along. Absolutely. But so going back to your experience around this,
Yeah.
like obviously you were young.
Yeah.
And how did you find yourself processing
that? It was really challenging. Learning to deal with it because it led to my mum's mental health diagnosis and it caused breakdown in family relationships. A really challenging time that I suppose we didn't cope a lot of the time, but you pull through, and fortunately I've had some life experiences as a child that enabled me to be resilient. And I think that's the key thing to get through any experiences, your resilience. And just being able to wake up in the day, and if you're feeling like a rubbish day, then that's okay. Because I think a lot of the time we put so much pressure on ourselves to be having a good time, having a good day all the time, and really we just need to be kind and compassionate.
Like to ourselves as well.
Yeah, that's it. Kind of compassionate to ourselves and allowing us to feel how we need to feel, especially in that moment. And if it's been a bad time.
You've got to really take your foot off the gas for a minute, haven't you?
Yeah.
And I think resilience is such a key word, and like I suppose I working in healthcare or social care, I imagine it's the same with you. It's thrown around quite a lot. You know, it's quite a buzzword at the moment. Everyone's talking about their resilience toolbox and things like that.
Yeah.
Were there any skills that you, during this period that you were grieving and trying to cope, did you learn any skills, either ones that maybe weren't so good or were so good?
I was quite grateful that I had good friends. That was really helpful. And school, I think, was an outlet. I took some months off school, but when I did return, it was an outlet to just try and succeed and push through, and a little bit of routine, because home life was chaotic for me. So to have routine back in my life was a relief and really a drive to push you forward. So yeah, and family life, it was chaotic, but sometimes you just thrive in that chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you sort of learn a new way to exist and coexist around each other when you go through something like that.
Yeah.
That's such that's such a big change. It's going to literally throw everything up in the air. And I think the word chaos is the perfect descriptor of that.
Yeah.
So like finding order again, did you find that you found that, or is that something that you had to?
That was really challenging to find. I had the first couple of years after my brother's suicide was really chaotic. I was probably a bit too wild. But then when I was about 15, 16, I started to get on a pathway which was more calming and nurturing. I had my GCSEs, so it's that boiling point of push forward and make something of your life, or unfortunately I had the observations at home during the chaos that would be my life. So it was the driving force of GCSE's education to let me get somewhere, and that's where I sit today, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So you found that sort of, like that sliding doors moment. I can really knuckle down and take what I've experienced and learn from it and create something better for myself from that, or I can crumble and succumb to it.
Yeah.
That's it. And you just chose in that moment, this is the time to knuckle down and go for it. I mean, you've built a wonderful life for yourself now. And I mean, we're going to discuss more about that in just a moment. But like amazingly well done for doing that. Like, that's not an easy thing to do, is it?
No, it's not. It's not easy to pull yourself up from the ashes. But it's doable. Yeah. It is doable. But again, it comes down to that resilience and that being kind to yourself, that the days you need to pull that blanket over your head, you do that, but you know you'll have better days. Yeah. So yeah.
It's that impermanence of everything,
Yeah.
Yeah, remembering that the good times and the bad times, they're there for the moment.
Yeah.
But they'll go, and we'll constantly keep riding that wave, won't we?
Yeah. And two things can coexist. You can have sadness and you can have joy, and they can go along at the same time and plod along together, and that's okay. I think people fail to recognise that you can be sad but you can feel joyous at the same time. And we'll go into a bit more detail around that later on. But yeah, I think it's really helpful to not beat yourself up when you're feeling really groggy and rubbish, but then you have a moment where you're laughing. That's fine, it's okay.
You're allowed
it's
to
good.
Laugh.
Yeah, you're allowed to.
Absolutely. And do you think that comes from like that's two emotions at once, maybe feels a little overwhelming, and you don't know what to do with that, maybe?
Yeah. And there's lots of emotions around guilt and shame that if you've experienced one thing such as a significant loss, then you should be feeling that and only that.
Yeah.
And you should be sad and you should be depressed, but actually you're allowed to have those glimmers of hope. And they're important because they keep life going.
That's it. I think they are important for recovery from anything, those glimmers, aren't they?
Yeah.
And, it's having the resilience sort of allows you to, it's like, I think it's a bit of a catch-22. The glimmers help you keep resilient, but also you need a little bit of resilience to be able to even notice the glimmer.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a bit of a balance between the two.
Yeah.
So moving forward through life now.
Yeah.
So we've done great with our GCSEs. Where did we go next?
So I went on to study at college and university and create a career for myself, and settled down with my partner, and we bought a house and both got good jobs and plodding along, and then we fell pregnant with our first son. And that was going all textbook, absolutely wonderful. But unfortunately, at 39 weeks, his growth started to drop. So he passed away then. I was overdue by 9 days. So he passed away in utero. So he was stillborn on the 26th of November. And his name was Wyatt. So that was my next experience of loss, and the most profound loss I've ever and probably will ever experience.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow, and 39 weeks is late, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, like that is to not notice anything went wrong. And do you know what went wrong now?
So his growth started to drop at 39 weeks, and then he died at 41 plus 3. 41 plus 2, sorry. And his placenta started to fail, but unfortunately it wasn't picked up as it should have been. And that resulted in him passing away.
I can only begin to imagine the kind of emotions that brought up. And, you know, how did you feel about the support you had around you at that time? I'm talking professionally, from the hospitals, family, friends, everything.
So the initial finding out, it was complete and utter shock. I didn't quite believe it initially. My partner was absolutely on the floor. The midwife who had scanned me before I went into the hospital, she was 36 weeks pregnant herself. So I was more concerned about her than I was myself, because I was just in shock and denial about everything going on. And then it suddenly hit then about the magnitude of it all, and how massive it was. The staff in the hospital at the time, they were lovely. They were very caring, compassionate and supportive. There was moments of my care which could have been better. But overall, people were compassionate and aimed to ensure that we were treated with dignity and respect. Both myself, my partner and Wyatt as well. And I went on to give birth to Wyatt then. And we spent a lovely 3 days with him. And we were supported by a wonderful bereavement midwife, who provided such unique support, but imperative, to have built all of those special moments. So bathing Wyatt, dressing him, taking photos of us all, and really just trying to encourage some form of normality to bond with him, because it's not something you ever expect, and it's not something you'd ever imagine you'd have to deal with. And especially Wyatt would be 6 this year, so about when I was pregnant with him, I didn't know anything about stillbirth. I was really naive to it. I was pregnant and I was having a living baby, so I was really shocked.
I feel like as well, I'm really amazed by and really happy for you that you got the 3 days. I feel like that is I didn't know that was a thing, to be completely honest. Like, you know, and I think you've had that moment to bond internally, which I know every person that's ever felt pregnant that I know has all spoken about how different it feels from here to here, you know, from having them inside you to having them in your arms. So I do think that having that moment maybe to bond with him in your arms, that must have been like really valuable.
Honestly, it was the most valuablest time ever, and if I could bottle those moments up and keep them forever, I 1,000,000% would, because that was the only time I got with him on earth, other than being pregnant with him. That's the time I got to share with him and family members, and him and my partner, and get to know him and study his beautiful little body, and he had the most magnificent hair and the most little fluffy duckling like feather type shoulders. So yeah, it's the most valuable time, and take footprints and just everything. Those really important things.
That's really special to have, isn't it? And important, and you didn't have to miss out on those bits. You know, that's something to hold on to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because many years ago, mums who had babies who were stillborn, they didn't get that opportunity
Yeah.
in the 60s, the 70s, 80s, and even before that, they never got those opportunities of bereavement care, let alone get to meet their baby after birth. And it's imperative you're birthing your baby. It's they don't just disappear. You birth your baby after they've passed. So to have them ripped away from you, I can only imagine the even more trauma and detriment that must put on women.
To just have it birthed and taken, I can't even begin to
It's
imagine.
the most unnatural thing ever.
Wow.
It's the most unnatural thing ever I went through. But I cannot even begin to imagine.
My goodness.
And that was a very shut up and get on with it culture.
Yeah, back in the days, especially. It's amazing the amount of sport that has come around of recent years, like compared to when we talk about when we were young, you know? Wow. So this is obviously another curveball that came, because like you said, it was 39 weeks and all very healthy and ready to go.
Yeah.
So how have you coped with two massive curveballs? And like you said, this one felt even bigger than the last one, you know?
Yeah.
So how do you feel like you managed to keep yourself together during that?
I don't know, to be honest. I very much spent the first year or more in shock after Wyatt died. But it's those moments of kindness and compassion for yourself. And they're very hard to come by, especially when your child has passed away, and especially through a stillbirth as well. It's extremely challenging. You carry a lot of shame, a lot of guilt, a lot of what have I done.
Yeah.
And that sticks with me to this day. Around blame. And I know it wasn't my fault, but naturally, I think as a parent, it sits there.
You carry that. You really do, of course.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like, it's that self-beating up. Even though this was such a curveball, something that came so left field, you'll still find, it's human nature, I guess, to find a reason why, and the easiest one to blame there is yourself.
Yeah.
So as far as that, how do you overcome that sort of self-blaming?
I don't think you overcome it. I think you learn to live with it and you move around it. I think it's really important to know, I think naturally it that blame will always internally sit there.
Yeah.
And I think as a mother, that is the epitome. It will always sit there, but you learn to soothe it.
Yeah.
You learn to soothe it and with that kindness, that compassion, and reassurance of it wasn't your fault. You've got to keep going back to that.
Is that like a bit of a mantra that you use, you know, like this, this isn't...
It's one of those things where it's my second son started his first full day in school this week. Wow. So it's really been like a grief hangover this week, because in that moment, that's his moment, and I love that. But then the grief hangover comes where Wyatt should have been starting school, he should have been in reception, into year one, and he should have had that moment, and I should have been taking my 3 children to school, not my 2. And then it hits you, the whys, the what ifs, the hows, and the whole blame and everything. But it's that you've got to sit with it.
That must be so difficult, that bittersweet moment of seeing the milestones of your other children then.
Yeah.
And obviously being so proud and happy to be a part of that, but at the same time being reminded of what should have been.
Yeah. And that's a really complex and challenging thing to live with, because you don't want your other children to be overshadowed by what has happened and what's missing. And Wyatt is very much involved in our lives. He's the older brother, he's our first son,
So they know about him?
They know all about him. His birthday celebrated. He has presents for Christmas. I parent daily because just because your baby has died, it doesn't mean parenting stops. So I light a candle for Wyatt every evening. And that's just my moment, as in giving him my acknowledgement and my parenting, because it's not your traditional parenting by any means, but it's that connection, that bond, double digits. I find they're from him, feathers, all those spiritual connections is that way of bond building and parenting beyond earth.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. So do you think that you've found more of a spirituality within yourself?
Yeah,
since this,
definitely, 100%. I feel like I'm more connected to Wyatt, and I'm more connected to the earth than ever. And I really try and tap into that, especially at my really vulnerable times.
Yeah.
So I'll see double digits multiple times throughout the day. But you've got those special ones, so and then you've got that connection, and you know he's there. And like sea glass, me and my partner, shortly after Wyatt passed away, we went down to the beach and we went sea glass picking. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Wow, it's like the little green shards, right?
Yeah, so they're shards of glass that have been in the sea for several years, and they've tumbled, so they're softened and they're frosted. So we went down to the beach and I was just picked it up and I was like, oh, this is sea glass. I've heard about this before. And we found loads of pieces, and then we were walking along and we found 3 pieces, 2 with a W on.
Wow.
And we were absolutely flabbergasted. We were just like, oh my God, like, how?
What?
How is that possible? And that experience just went from there. And when we go down the beach now, we always have that connection of sea glass and being close to him by the sea. And like robins. Really get, robins are absolutely amazing. And we thought about moving house, and I was toing and throwing because I spent my pregnancy there with Wyatt. I spent every moment with him up until he passed away there. I just didn't know whether we could go through with it because it held so much connection. And then a robin kept coming into our house, and we've got shelves with Wyatt's photo on, and little belongings, knickknacks we collect for him. And this robin came in twice on different days and came to his shelf. And it just felt like that connection of, it's okay, you can move.
Yeah, like you had the permission almost.
Yeah, because that guilt just draws heavy. But yeah, we're very spiritually connected to him. I love a bit of rose quartz for him. Citrine is his birthstone. So yeah, it's that very much a connection, and it helps pull us through the most vulnerable days as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Having that source of communication still there almost.
It's
almost like using the world as a telephone to contact, you know? I think that's so important, because we do in this culture have a idea of death as meaning stopping, it's the end.
Yeah.
And I think that once you've experienced a loss like that, you can often find yourself opening up to the possibility of, well, I feel like they're still here. I don't feel like that's the end. I can't be that wrong, you know? Yeah. And I think that's very comforting.
Yeah.
And very, very healing to continue to have that moment. I was speaking with a friend not long ago who tragically lost his mum, and, you know, he's saying, I'm not going to speak to her again. I said, just try it. I said, you'll just have a new language. Yeah. And I think these robins are the new language, you know, the sea glass. This is the new language that you learn to speak to each other. Yeah, it's a connection, and it's so important to carry. It's so important to carry, and they say once you've been pregnant, part of their cells connect with yours. So they go up to your heart, and they go into your tummy, and they go into your liver, and all of those cells. So you've forever got that connection in your body. It's that
maternal spiritual connection. And I think pregnancy and birth is very much that.
Yes. Oh my goodness, absolutely.
Yeah.
Even down to the fact that breast milk, if the baby's ill, the formula of the breast milk changes to help them get better.
Yeah.
You're not even physically attached at that
No.
point. I just think that
physiologically
connection,
it's just so connected. Even like with my children here on earth, like you just got that maternal instinct of something is wrong, or something is, they're having a good day, and there's that connection there that if you believe it and you can tap into it, it's really special.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot to be said, and these again are glimmers. So there's a lot to be said for these glimmers of hope that can help you build that resilience. It's a nice place to start from, to just sort of, and also I think it brings you back to the present moment.
Yeah.
You know, if you're aware of robins, or you're aware of pieces of sea glass on the floor, you're in the moment.
Yeah.
And you're not necessarily dwelling into the past or being anxious about the future. So that in itself is a healing practice, isn't it?
Yeah,
you know,
it is. It's that healing practice, it's that connecting practice, it's that bond. And it's so nice because they're moments I can share with my partner, they're moments I can share with my children, they're moments we can share as a family. And ultimately that's what it is we are a family.
Yeah.
And that's a really complex issue because we're a family of 5, but you can only visualize 4 of us. And I will speak about Wyatt every day. As I said, I light his candle daily. He's at the heart of so much that I do, as well as my other 2 children, that it's so important that he's a part of that. And it's hard because his death sits very unnaturally. So I know he's died, but that acceptance, I don't think it'll ever be fully there.
Yeah.
And it's coming to an okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't expect myself to ever get over that. I don't think you'll ever get over loss as a whole. But I think when it's your child, it's completely different, and I don't have to accept that my child has died, and I have to plod on with life in a normal way.
No, because what is normal?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Our life is very much different, and I'm okay with, if people ask me how many children have I got, I'll always say 3. And if they want to know more, then that's fine. But they've asked me that question, so they've got to be prepared to be uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of those key things is so many people treat you with a bit of a taboo. So many people feel uncomfortable around you. And there's so much stigma that's attached to it that you have to almost come around to just being okay with that.
With the stigma.
With the stigma attached to it, and the uncomfortableness you bring to people. But I've realised that's not a reflection of me as a person. That's a reflection of someone's lack of experience and a lack of acknowledgement around real life issues.
Absolutely. Because there's some scary statistic around this. Like, I only learned a few months ago that, is it 1 in 4 babies are born still or through miscarriage?
Yeah, that's
1 in
correct.
4. That is a lot more closer to home than you'd expect.
Yeah, massive.
That tells you how many people are not talking about it.
Yeah, and that's ones that are documented. Not all women go to the GPs or go to midwifery care or gynecology. So those statistics are probably more.
Wow. So it could be looking closer to half or a third.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think there's so much preventative work that's being done through charities, but unfortunately the NHS is a bit outdated, where those measures can be implemented to improve miscarriages and stillbirth. And I know there's charities like Tommy's, where they're doing a lot of studies around improving maternity care, to try and get better outcomes for individuals, and for babies as well, and mums and families. But I think it's very hard because the UK government signed up to reducing the amount of babies that are stillborn by 2025, and unfortunately they didn't reach that. You've got our government, the Welsh government, they're currently not signed up to anything to reduce the number of stillbirths and neonatal deaths. But hopefully there will be some change coming in the near future, because I think it's imperative that these things are changed, because they are changeable.
Yeah.
They are changeable. You often hear that, oh, but babies just die. Babies don't just die. Babies die for a reason, just like people die for reasons. It's how much it's investigated and looked into. And that's a really challenging thing, because with Wyatt's death, things were done in-house, because babies who are stillborn are not taken to the coroner's court. They investigated within the service you give birth in. So understandably, no one wants to push their colleagues under the bus, so to speak. But that doesn't give us honesty, and that doesn't give us change, and that doesn't improve people's lives, because ultimately my life has been destroyed as a result, and it will never be to a level that it once was, and I'll carry this for the rest of my life. And I've got many years of therapy and many years of just not having normal, and I say that very loosely, because normal, what is it?
Yeah.
But as I said earlier, those having those emotions coexist, that grief, that depression, that anxiety, amongst happiness or elements of joy, they have to coexist with me, because the way I explain it is my whole life now is it's as if I've got a bag underneath my arm and it's full of pebbles and stones, and I'm constantly picking them up, but they're falling through, and there's no closure. My bag will never be fixed.
No.
And my pebbles will forever be falling through, so to speak. And I have to live with that. It's been to the detriment of myself and my family. And unfortunately, I've developed complex PTSD as a result. And it's having to live with that and work with it. And the access to services are not fantastic. I've been fortunate to be able to access some really good professionals who have been absolutely amazing.
Is that through the NHS? Or?
That's through the perinatal team. But that's them as clinicians, not as a service, so to speak. I think quality of care comes down to compassion, and understanding, and want to help and want to change. And I've banged on these doors for so long for help and change, because when Wyatt died, when the midwife came round to do my 6-week check, I told her I need help. I cannot cope. I don't want to be here. I said, can you refer me to the perinatal team? And she said, I'm really sorry, I can't, because you haven't got a living baby.
Oh, what?
So mums who lose their babies through stillbirth or neonatal death don't access perinatal care.
Wow.
So your body is perinatal. Postpartum, sorry. Producing milk. Giving birth. Your brain functions completely different from a generic brain. But you can't access those specialist services.
Wow.
And that's detrimental. That is detrimental.
Surely that's something that needs to be available. that's blown my mind to think that, you know, I mean, a new parent is in a vulnerable situation anyway, but you're in a particularly vulnerable situation there, you know? You're being impacted in so many ways, and that would really bring some... that's all right.
I'm obviously very important today. Oh, it's just my partner.
Oh, bless him. Oh,
sorry, go on.
No problem. That's going to be such a... Oh, I've lost it. It's gone.
Sorry.
It's all right, don't worry. Don't worry. But it's going to be such an important part of somebody's recovery, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
those specialised services, and once there's bereavement midwives, they're not therapeutically trained, and they can't be with you long term, because this isn't a short-term process, this is a lifelong process. And I've succumbed to realise that I will probably be in and out of therapy for the rest of my life. I'm still learning about Wyatt's death now, 6 years on. I'm still in a legal battle 6 years on. Because the lack of accountability just isn't there. And that turmoil and that re-traumatising people is just damning. It's really damning. And I don't know when my legal situation is going to be done. But what I do know is every time something comes up in that legal arena, it just sends me spiralling again. It sends me spiralling, it re-traumatises me. And the evidence with my situation is quite black and white. But the lack of acknowledgement or the lack of accountability doesn't exist. And I don't want money. All I want is accountability. I want acknowledgement, and I want change. I want sincerity. I'm not here to hang over someone's head and go, you've done this. I want change. I want change for mums and babies. Because if things can be prevented, then they should be. Prevention is far more better than cure sometimes. And this is the case. And I hope, and I hang on to hope, because hope has been the only thing that has got me through this journey, is I really hope maternity care changes for the better in the near future, because mums and babies and dads, they deserve so much better.
Absolutely.
They deserve so much better. We're people.
Yeah.
And we need that connection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
That's such a beautiful way to sort of bring us towards the last little bit where I want to ask you about your pillars, but like remembering that hope. And and I think hope is definitely something you've clung to here, and I think that's amazing. I wonder if I'm going to leave it to you. What would you say your pillars are?
I've got 5 pillars.
You've written these down.
I've written these down. I reflected on this because my journey is very complex, and I'm still in the midst of it. But I sat down last night and I thought, what's got me through this journey? Number 1 is hope.
Yeah. The
good old hope. It's imperative. It's imperative to pull you through anything in life. I hope to fall pregnant again. I hope to continue connection with Wyatt. I hope for justice. I hope for change. I hope for good quality of life. That is just the most important thing. That's my top number 1 to get me through. My second is kindness and compassion for yourself.
So important.
It's so important. You have to be kind to yourself. You have to allow yourself the space to feel how you need to feel. And remember that emotion isn't going to be forever. It'll change. They're quite fluid, emotions are. So whilst you're having a bad day, tomorrow might be a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
And to hope again for another brighter day. And then my third is grief is to have and to continue to love.
Oh, wow.
That's what I see my grief as. So every little bit of hurt in my body, my soul, my heart is pure love for my son.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's what I remember.
Such a beautiful reframing of the pain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's very challenging because with my journey, you've got Wyatt, but you've got mine and Wyatt's experiences, which were not so great, and they collide sometimes. By trying and pull Wyatt back off separately and identify him as, that's my grief, that's my love, that's my purpose, is for him, and I try and keep him separate from what our experience and journey was.
Of course. Wow.
My fourth then is do what you need to do and how you need to do it. So I feel like my parenting for Wyatt hasn't changed. I still need to parent him, albeit differently. I light his candle every night. Even if I go away on holiday, I take a little extra candle next to his photo.
Wow.
That's my connection to him. People will have different connections, but that's mine, and that might make people feel uncomfortable, and that's okay, but it's mine and his, and no one can destroy that, no one can intervene with that, and I'm fine with that. And then my last one then, it's okay if others feel uncomfortable, but don't let that deter you from your journey. And again, that comes down to, it's quite a taboo thing. People feel uncomfortable by the word stillbirth. People feel uncomfortable by people having lost a baby. But unfortunately, it affects so much more than what we realise. But that uncomfortableness isn't a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. And they're fortunate not to experience that situation. So it's okay for them to be uncomfortable.
Absolutely. And remembering their comfortability is not your business.
It's, you don't need to worry about that. You continue doing what you need to do. Yeah.
That's amazing, Jazz. Oh, thank you so much for chatting. I really think that there is some amazing moments through through what you've shared that are really going to like help some people through some really tough times. I really appreciate it so much coming in. I'm going to be a big coach. Oh,
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
That's okay.
Beautiful.
Thank
You're amazing.
you.
Oh, well, that brings us to the end. And thank you for watching or listening. And we'll see you on the next one. Adios.
Bye.